David never forgot the day Claire walked away. He was 36, standing in their cramped kitchen, the divorce papers still warm from the printer, her signature a jagged scar across the page. She'd signed away her rights to their 2-year-old daughter, Lily, with a shrug that said freedom was worth more than family. Claire wanted to explore herself. She'd said, her voice cool as the November wind rattling the windows, and David, heart cracked but resolute, let her go without a fight, knowing Lily deserved a parent who stayed. For 15 years, he raised Lily alone in their small coastal town, teaching her to fish, to dream, to trust in the quiet rhythms of their life. He worked double shifts at the docks, his hands calloused from hauling nets, his back bent from carrying both their burdens. Lily grew into a fierce, bright 17-year-old, her laughter a beacon in their modest home, though she never asked about her mother, not once. David thought he'd buried the past, but the past, it seems, has a way of clawing its way back. One October evening, as the sun bled orange across the horizon, a knock came at their door. Claire stood there, older, softer, her eyes heavy with something David couldn't name: regret, maybe, or desperation. She was back, she said, to make things right, to know the daughter she'd left behind. David's stomach twisted. Lily's face hardened. The air between them crackled with unspoken questions. Why now? What right did she have? Claire's return wasn't a homecoming, it was an invasion. David remembered the early days after she left, when Lily's cries echoed through the night, and he, a novice father, fumbled through diaper changes and lullabies. He'd built a life for them, brick by brick, on the ashes of Claire's absence. Now, she stood before him, claiming a place she'd forsaken, her voice trembling as she spoke of her travels, her art, her journey of self-discovery. She'd painted in Paris, meditated in Bali, lived a life unmoored. But now, she said, she was ready to be a mother. David wanted to laugh, a bitter, hollow sound, but Lily's presence stopped him. She stood in the doorway, her dark eyes flicking between her parents, searching for truth in a story she'd never been told. Claire knelt before her, voice soft, pleading. I'm here now. Lily, I want to know you. Lily's jaw tightened, and David saw the storm brewing in her, the same storm he'd felt for years. He wanted to shield her, to send Claire away, but something in her gaze stopped him. Was it curiosity, hope, or just the ache of a question unanswered over the next few weeks? Claire lingered, renting a room at the town's only inn, showing up at Lily's soccer games, leaving sketches of seascapes on their porch. David watched, torn between fury and a strange, reluctant pity. Claire wasn't the reckless dreamer who'd left. She was worn, her hands trembling as she spoke of the years she'd spent chasing meaning, only to find it hollow. She'd lost friends, money, time, and now, she said, she saw what mattered: family. David didn't trust her words, but Lily, against his warnings, began to listen. They met at the pier one afternoon, Claire and Lily, while David watched from a distance, his heart a tight fist. Lily asked questions, sharp, pointed ones. Why did you leave? Did you ever think of me? Claire's answers were raw, faltering. She spoke of fear, of feeling trapped, of believing Lily was better off without her. I was wrong, she whispered, tears streaking her face. Lily didn't cry. She just nodded, her silence louder than words. David wanted to pull her away, to protect her from the pain of trusting someone who might leave again. But he saw something in Lily's eyes, a need to understand, to decide for herself. The tension built like a gathering storm. David and Claire clashed one night at the house, their voices low but cutting. You don't get to waltz back in and play mom, he hissed, his anger a decade and a half in the making. Claire didn't flinch. I know I failed her, David, but I'm trying. Don't I get a chance to fix it? He wanted to say no, to banish her forever, but the words caught in his throat. Lily overheard, her face pale, and later, she asked David, do you think people can change? He didn't have an answer, not a good one. The question haunted him as Claire persisted, showing up with small gestures, a book for Lily, a repair for their leaky sink, a quiet apology in every action. David saw the toll it took on Lily, the way she wrestled with her mother's return, torn between resentment and a fragile hope. One evening, at the town's harvest festival, the dam broke. Claire had joined them, uninvited but tolerated, and as they walked through the glowing stalls, Lily stopped dead in her tracks. "Why should I trust you?" she demanded, her voice shaking, drawing stares from passers-by. Claire froze, her hands twisting together. "You shouldn't," she said quietly. "Not yet, but I'll stay until you do or until you tell me to go." The raw honesty disarmed Lily, and for the first time, David saw her soften. Just a fraction. He felt a pang, not of anger, but of fear that Claire's return might reshape the life he'd built. Fear that Lily might need something he couldn't give. Weeks turned to months, and Claire didn't leave. She took a job at the local cafe, her once vibrant dreams scaled down to fit the town's quiet rhythm. Lily began to talk to her, small conversations at first, then longer ones about school, art, the future. David watched, his heart a battleground of pride and unease. He saw Lily's strength, her ability to forgive where he couldn't, and it humbled him. One night, as winter settled over the coast, Lily sat him down. "I don't know if I'll ever call her Mom," she said, her voice steady, "but I want to know her. Is that okay?" David's throat tightened. He nodded, realizing this wasn't about him, it was about Lily's right to her own story. Claire's return didn't erase the past, but it forced them all to face it. David began to see her not as the woman who left, but as someone trying, however imperfectly, to make amends. He didn't forgive her, not fully, but he let her stay, for Lily's sake. The three of them existed in a fragile truce, each step forward a negotiation between pain and possibility. Claire's presence was a reminder that family isn't just about who stays, but about who tries to come back, and whether those left behind can make room. By spring, Lily was applying to colleges, her dreams bigger than the town. Fueled by both her father's steadfast love and her mother's belated return, Claire offered to help with tuition, a small gesture from her modest savings, and David, after a long pause, accepted. It wasn't reconciliation, but it was something a crack in the wall between them. One evening, as they sat on the cliff where Claire had first returned, Lily sketched the ocean, Claire beside her, pointing out shapes in the waves. David watched from a distance, his heart no longer a fist but an open hand, holding space for what might come. The story wasn't over. It was messy, unresolved, human. They were three people navigating the wreckage of choices made and unmade, finding a way to coexist in the shadow of what was and what could be. What do you think? Was Claire right to return? Or should she have stayed away? Should David have fought harder to keep her out? Or was letting her stay the braver choice? Share your thoughts on where the line lies between forgiveness and fairness. End.